Hey everyone, welcome to the Catholicpreneur Podcast. Mitch Fisher here. Today, I thought I'd hop on and just give free, unsolicited social media advice for Catholic entrepreneurs, creatives, influencers, and whatnot, and whomever. Because that's what I'm passionate about, and I feel like hopefully some of you might benefit from it. I wanted to try and provide value here. So, first and foremost, there's a lot of you who are doing amazing things on social media already. So, as you know, especially if you listen to some of my recent episodes, I work for a social media company. I guess in a sense, we do social media for parishes and dioceses. Is kind of the basic one sentence phrase of what we do. So, I work with a lot of parishes and dioceses on social media, not only the content but the distribution of that content. And it's one of my areas of passion. I love that. I love to see Catholics. I love to see parishes. I love to see dioceses doing good things on social media, recognizing the importance of it, investing heavily in it. And so there are a lot of people out there already doing really, really good, cool things. But I also understand social media can be intimidating. It can be difficult, and maybe something that you don't necessarily enjoy. But if you are a Catholic entrepreneur, you have a business, you're running a business, social media is probably not something you're able to actually ignore either. So, wanted to just come on here and give some free social media advice. Some of you might already know these, some of you might already be practicing some of these, and that's okay. If you have additional pieces that you think that you would like me to elaborate on, or that you find would be more valuable to listeners, please tweet me, Mitchell J. Fisher. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. So, without further ado, free advice on social media. Number one, document everything. Sorry, I haven't drank my coffee yet today. Document everything. So, what this looks like in practice, I think a lot of people think and feel like with social media, you have to like strategize. You have to look ahead. You have to plan out your calendar. You look at the secular calendar, maybe you look at the church calendar, you see what's going on, and you create a graphic about whatever that thing is. That's the most basic level of social media content strategy that exists. And you see it all the time when brands, companies, saying happy Wednesday, happy, whatever day. And it's just like a graphic with like not even an image they took, just like stock footage. And that's okay. Like it gets you somewhere, right? Like I think anything, something's better than nothing. If you're putting out some kind of content, you're bringing some kind of awareness to your page or what you're doing, that is better than doing nothing. But that next level is documenting. So if you're a business, if you're a creative, if you're an influencer entrepreneur, documenting whatever it is that you're working on and whatever you're doing. So if you are someone who has a business or a project, you have like a niche probably. You have something that you're focused on and you have an area of expertise. For example, I had Colin Stroud on the podcast. He basically started doing kind of consulting around maximizing credit card points for travel and loyalty programs for travel for families. So if you haven't listened to his episode, I think he's got some really good insights. But for example, he has this niche and he started just creating content around it and documenting his journey. He's very open, very vulnerable about what he's doing with his time and how this is developing, not only just like trying to provide value, but he's just documenting what he's doing. He's documenting like, this is the business I'm starting. Like I just had this client ask me this, all those kinds of interesting things. So, I would encourage you listening to that episode, but also following Colin Stroud on LinkedIn because he's doing a really good job with this documenting. You don't need to sit down every week and be like, all right, what are we doing for the week? Let's plan out our content. Let's make our graphics. Like instead, another approach, especially if maybe you aren't necessarily like, you wouldn't call yourself the go-to expert in this area that you talk about or are pursuing business in. You might not be an expert yet. Therefore, it's hard for you to provide value. So instead, you can document what you're doing. And that's kind of what I strive to do and try to do, not only in my job, but also just like with this podcast and with the various projects I have going on with my personal social media. I'm trying to document everything. I'm documenting being a work from home dad. I'm documenting being a Catholic that is starting a family. Like, I'm documenting these things. I'm not saying I'm an expert in these things. I'm just documenting them and sharing out my life. Like, this is my life. This is what I'm learning. And so it actually takes that pressure off of having to go like create a content counter and strategize and figure out what it is, who is my target audience. Like, instead, your target audience is you, and you produce the content you want to do. You document what you're doing. So let's say you're learning how to create something, you're learning how to create your product, document that video, photo, written word, document those things and just share that. People want to follow along a person's journey. They don't necessarily care about your commentary on a secular holiday that all the brands are posting a random graphic about. So you do not have to necessarily be an expert to be producing content. Just document, what are you doing today? Document it, share it. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. That's step number one. Advice number two, get on LinkedIn and post daily. LinkedIn, I tell this with everyone I talk to when we're talking about social media. My brother, he actually wrote a script for a movie about the life of St. Joseph, and he's like hardcore pursuing it, getting produced. So I'm really excited for him, but he is kind of in this period of like, okay, I wrote this script, I've done all the work. It's like time to figure out what do I do next? How do I like, make connections and let people know this is what I'm doing. So I told him, when it comes to social media, LinkedIn is number one. Get on LinkedIn, connect with people, reach out, and just start sharing what you're doing. So LinkedIn is behaving similar to how a lot of platforms early on behave. So as you know, Facebook was originally just a platform for friends to friend each other and share fun photos about what they were up to. That's what it used to be. And to a degree, it still is that today. But as always, marketers ruin everything. They ruin social media. And Facebook is a million different things vying for your attention to keep you on the platform. It's not just the friends sharing photos and commenting. Like, that aspect exists inside of what is now a advertising machine that is trying to keep your attention for as long as possible. So in the early days, there are more people consuming content than creating on any platform, which means that those who are creating on a given platform, that there's more attention than creation, have some leverage. So that's where LinkedIn is right now. There are more people consuming content on LinkedIn than there are creating it. So those who are deciding to create, providing value, are able to build a following. Now, this doesn't last long usually, as you know, because people jump into the platforms and eventually they become flooded with content. And then whatever the next platform is pops up. So right now, LinkedIn is a goldmine. LinkedIn is a great place to, obviously, if you're running a business, you're an entrepreneur, like, LinkedIn is going to be a good place to get that started. So with that being said, if you aren't already on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. If you are, optimize your profile. I don't have like a ton of like super practical tips there. Like, I probably could do another episode on this, but I would say get a good headshot. I would say that headshot doesn't need to be you in a suit, because LinkedIn is becoming more and more personal. You do not need to look like someone you're not. Okay. That's that. With that being said, you can have my profile image. I'm wearing a suit because it's like our company photos. There's nothing wrong with that, but be who you are. Be very clear about what you do. Be very clear about in your description about what stuff you talk about and where your area of expertise is. And then just start posting daily. And all formats are working: written formats, photos. You can upload PDFs as slides. You can upload videos. All those formats are working well on LinkedIn right now. You just have to go post. So go document your journey on LinkedIn. Go share your expertise. Be vulnerable. Just go there, but do not be cheesy. There's some people are taking this to an extreme level of just like absolute insanity. Like, one of the ones that went viral recently was, I just proposed to my girlfriend of 3 years. Here's what it taught me about B2B sales. That is ridiculous. Do not do that. people do not appreciate that. Like, it's getting out of hand. So do not be like that. But provide value, document, be personable. Easy enough. LinkedIn, invest in LinkedIn. Number 3, find your favorite medium and double down. So I think right now everyone knows short form video is very popular. And if you are good at short form video, you will probably do well, but you don't have to do short form video to succeed in social media, to be clear. It's actually one of the mediums that, like, obviously every platform is in investing in short form vertical style videos right now. TikTok made this popular, Instagram now, Facebook. I mean, every platform has vertical short form video. X might even be bringing back Vine, those kinds of things. If you like doing that and you can get good at it, there's nothing wrong with doing it, but it's not the only way right now. If you are a really good writer and you hate everything else, you can write. So write on Twitter or X, write on LinkedIn. Those are the written platforms. If you really are good at taking photos or graphics, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on LinkedIn. If you're really, really good at video and just like personal video, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So find what you like, test everything out, and where you'll notice where you like to spend your time doing more, whether it's writing or taking videos, editing videos, and just double down on that medium and that platform that supports that the best. There's nothing wrong with that. Social media is an important aspect of your job and your life now if you're trying to create and provide value and trying to sell stuff. So you might as well be enjoying what you're creating. If you absolutely hate all of it, you're still going to need to get good at it and eventually maybe hire people to do it. But that would be my advice, is don't be afraid to spend more time on the things you actually enjoy, because you're going to be more likely to do it and produce content around that medium. The very last thing, fourth thing, be social, be a person. So nobody goes on social media to follow brands. That's not their number one incentive to get on social media. Like, people don't want to sign up for an Instagram account so that they can be sold to by brands. Like, no one ever in the history of social media has decided to sign up for social media so that they can like know what brands are up to. That's not why people follow people. However, there are brands on social media that are killing it and doing a good job. And the reason why is because they're being people. They're operating as people. So if you want to operate as a company and just go on there and be like, hey, we're having a sale on this, and hey, happy 4th of July, and then tie it into your product somehow, nobody cares about that except for maybe a few of your friends and family who are trying to support you, but they're like, this really sucks. You need to be a person. So if you're a company, you need to be a person on social media, because social media is full of people who are communicating, commenting, interacting, because it's social media. Keyword is social. So if obviously if you're operating as a person anyway, like you're an influencer, this is super easy to do. You're a person anyway, so you're operating as a person. But if you're like a brand, if you're running like a brand's social media, then your brand needs to become a person, and that person's probably who you are anyway, and therefore who your target audience is if you're doing it right. And you just need to operate as a person. So be personable. You should not be like promoting. Honestly, you should focus completely on providing value and adding to the conversations that are happening in your circles. You should be commenting. This is especially like when I've been talking to like parishes and dioceses about this. Like, as a parish, this is just a good example, because we're Catholics. We know this. Your parish Facebook page. I sent out like a memo or an email to our parishes that we work with, just giving some tips on how to be more social on social media, and one of them being commenting. So when you're on Facebook and you're scrolling Facebook, you are liking and commenting on your friends' photos and videos and adding your 2 cents. Businesses and parishes should be doing that too, because you're a person. So imagine if your parish commented on your picture from the parish festival. How cool is that? That is going to increase the engagement, and that's going to do well for you. So that was my note to parishes. She's like, have you ever thought about using your parish account the way you use a personal account, like commenting on your parishioners' posts, engaging with them, liking? And so that was kind of an unlock for a lot of them. So the same goes for if you're a business running a business account. Be a person on social media. you're just going to be more likely to get followed because people follow people. They just don't care about brands unless your brand is operating as a person. You see this a lot with like companies that are having, you know, their mascots be more prominent. So like Jake from State Farm or the Duolingo bird, like those kinds of things, like personifying. So those kinds of things do well because it's like you feel like it's a person. Um, so be a person, be a real person. Those are my 4 tips today. So hopefully that was valuable. If you have additional things that you want me to talk about, let me know. You can also follow me at the Catholicpreneur on Instagram. We'd be happy to connect with you all there. But let me know if you found value in this. Like I said, tweet me, DM me, message me on Instagram. Would love to hear your thoughts. If there's more topics you'd like me to cover, or if I missed anything, if you think I was wrong about something today, let me know too. All right. God bless everybody.